Today on BenchBriefs, we're looking at a recent Supreme Court of Canada decision that delves into the delicate balance between criminal law enforcement and constitutional rights. In R.V. Beaver, the court tackles important questions about how our charter protections apply when someone faces criminal charges. This case reminds us why constitutional safeguards are crucial, even in complex criminal matters. So, what's the story behind R.V. Beaver? At its core, this case involves an individual named Beaver, who was charged under certain criminal law provisions. While the exact nature of the offense isn't the headline here, the real legal battle was over whether those criminal provisions and the way they were applied respected constitutional rights guaranteed by the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Beaver was convicted, but he challenged that conviction on the grounds that his charter rights had been infringed during the process. To understand why this case reached the Supreme Court, let's break down the key facts. Beaver was charged with an offense under criminal law, which triggered a series of legal steps, including a trial. During these proceedings, questions arose about whether the law under which he was charged was valid in the first place, and whether Beaver's constitutional rights had been respected throughout. The specifics of the offense and procedural history set the stage for a larger debate on how constitutional protections operate within criminal prosecutions. The central legal issue before the Supreme Court was whether the criminal law provisions applied to Beaver complied with constitutional requirements. More specifically, the court had to decide if those provisions aligned with the Charter's protection of individual rights, and if not, whether any violations that occurred were justified or required remedy. This meant examining the validity and scope of the criminal provisions themselves, interpreting how the Charter applies in this context, and scrutinizing the conduct of the prosecution and trial to determine if Beaver's rights were infringed. This case raised difficult questions about how far the government can go in enforcing criminal laws without stepping over constitutional boundaries. The court's role was to carefully analyze the competing interests. On one hand, the need to enforce laws that protect society, and on the other, the fundamental rights that shield individuals from unfair or unconstitutional treatment. In doing so, the court clarified important principles about the limits of criminal law and the scope of charter protections in legal proceedings. Why does R.V. Beaver matter beyond the details of this single case? It highlights the ongoing challenge courts face in balancing effective law enforcement with the protection of constitutional rights. The decision reinforces that even when someone is accused of a crime, their charter rights cannot be sidelined or ignored. This case serves as a reminder that the rule of law and constitutional safeguards are foundational to our justice system, ensuring fairness and respect for individual liberties. Moreover, the ruling provides guidance for lower courts, lawyers, and lawmakers on how to interpret and apply criminal provisions in a way that honors the Charter. It underscores the importance of scrutinizing the validity of criminal laws themselves, not just how they are enforced. This contributes to a broader legal landscape where rights are actively protected and unjust laws or practices can be challenged and corrected. In sum, R.V. Beaver is a key Supreme Court decision that reaffirms the critical role of constitutional protections in criminal law. It shows us that the justice system must constantly navigate the tension between public safety and individual rights, and that the Charter remains a vital tool for maintaining that balance. Thanks for listening to BenchBriefs. Be sure to join us next time for another episode where we break down important Canadian legal decisions and explore what they mean for all of us. Until then, take care.